Hello guys, Knurrt here, and today I wanted to bring you a new version of Virtual World. Last time I showed the Brave version with the small Brave engine, and this time I wanted to show you the Punk version. So the Punk cards, also released in Grand Creators, have gotten a bit of attention as like they're just a good one card engine that gives you two level 3 bodies. Two of them are tuners, so you can either make Cherubini or Helki Fabrics with it, and also get an imperm with it. And due to 3 emergency teleport, it doesn't even cost you normal summon. You get a discard. For some decks, it's beneficial. So yeah, that actually has some synergy in Virtual World. So let's get into the deck profile. First, let's turbo through all the Virtual World cards as we always do. So we have 3 Lulu, 3 Gigi, 3 Lily, 3 Lao Lao, standard. So then what I do, since I don't run Desires anymore, is just 1 Yan Yan, because normal summon reliant, you have 3 E-Tailer anyway to get it. So, and you can't banish it face down, right? And it frees up a bit of space. If someone has an argument for still running 2 Nian, let me know. I think 1 is pretty much fine, especially if you run more E-Tailer targets. Then we have 3 Kowloon, 3 Qinglong. We actually have more space than the Brave version, so we can run 3. Plus, with a Punk engine, you have a very high chance of finding a discard, a higher chance than you actually have with the Brave. So that's pretty nice. And then for the traps, we have, as always, 2 Juche, 1 Jianwu. So now for the next engine, we have 3 Italy. It's obviously standard in Virtual World, but now we play the Punk package with it. So we have 1 Xiamen, 1 Spider, 1 Foxy Tune, and 1 Gabu. So you can make an argument for playing more Xiamen, but I like having this engine as non-normal summon reliant as possible. So I'd rather get this out via Italy. So you have 3 Italy, you have 1 Xiamen, and you have 1 Foxy to access this. Obviously, the Italy makes it so that you don't have to use the normal summon, whereas drawing one of these, you have to use the normal summon. And then for the hand traps, we run 9 hand traps here. Have a bit more space than in the Brave version, so we have 3 Ash Blossom. Start of the format, I like Ash Blossom, just very generic. 3 Ogre, because it is good against Brave and also has some other applications. And we have 3 Impermanence, also very versatile. You can make an argument to run Lancia in the main deck, like over an Ash Blossom, because it's lower impact. Because Lancia hits Brave if they don't open up with right, and it hits VW hard, and it hits PK hard. So right now I just went very cookie cutter on the hand traps. And then for the last 2 cards, we have 1 get out of jail free card, and we have the 1 single brick. So you will know what is in the extra deck because we just showed the test spot. So let's jump into it. We have obviously the Shenzhen and the Crystal Wing package. Vermilion Dragon Mech, just unbreaking some hands, or good going second. Still run the Croco, just to like, if you have 2 bodies over, drawing a card is not bad. Coral Dragon and Starless Charge Warrior, the 6 draw cards, you cannot live without them. Juju, which is generally already good in this deck, but it's mandatory in this version of the deck. Then we have the card that makes this all possible. It's Cupid Pitch. And that's it for the synchros. So let's go to the XZs. Got Gaia. I'm not sure if I want to run this anymore. You will see in a bit, because we run Break Sword, which you obviously can't use with it. Still my preferred rank 3. We have M7, best XZs in this deck, and we have Zeus. So I'm not sure if I want to run Gaia anymore, because M7, after using this effect, has 2 materials, so putting a Gaia on top doesn't make much of a difference for Zeus. Might come up still though, but feel free to swap this out for anything. For example, Beatrice is pretty good, as I will show you in the combo later. So that's it for the XZs, just very small core. And then we have 2 links, and that's one Aurodon and one very good proxy of Crystron Halkifibrex. I refused to buy a Halkifibrex because it spiked in price due to Sword Soul playing this exact combo, and I expected to get reprinted because the card is 2 years old, so I didn't want to shell out for it. Also, I'm currently playing the Brave version, so it didn't make sense for me to get it. Alright, that's it for the main and extra deck. So let's show you what this single E-Tailer can do. So let's start with one E-Tailer, and the rest of the hand, let's just put some hand traps in the Called by the Grave. Alright, so didn't open any virtual world name, right? You know the feeling if you played virtual world for a bit. So what do we do here is we can go E-Tailer, and we special out the Xiamen effect used to pay 600 life points and add to your hand. Now you can make a choice between adding either Spider or Foxy Tune. So Spider, if you add Spider, you can normal summon it, but then you use your normal summon, right? So in this case, obviously, we don't really need a normal summon, so we can do it, but for the sake of the combo, let's add the Foxy Tune, because usually you will have more virtual world cards in the hand if you do this, and then you want to preserve the normal summon. Then you can use Foxy Tune, discard it. The cool thing about it is it sends itself for cost, but the other discard is part of the effect. So if they ash it, you don't lose one of your cards in hand, you don't go 2 for 1. So you discard it, and then the effect resolves, you discard another card, and you can special the Spider from the deck. Then you can use the Spider effect, pay 600 life points, and add the trap to the hand. The trap is basically an imperm. It's just a monster negation on the field. If you have a P.U.N.K on field, it also gains you life points, but that's irrelevant because you will just put them away. So you will link those two. For Proxy Fibrex, Halki will then summon out from the deck Despot 001, and you use those two to make Aurodon. Aurodon effect triggers, gets you 3 machine tokens, level 3, and then that triggers the Despot in the grave, which comes back. Then you use Despot and the token to make a level 4 synchro, which is Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch then has the effect of increasing or decreasing the level. So quick disclaimer here, I will use the effect to decrease the level, but if you want to use Boral Savage Dragon, say you have more virtual world cards in hand, say you have City Lulu, for example, already in hand, you could, for example, also say, okay, I'm going to increase the level and use Cupid Pitch plus the level 3 token to make Boral Savage, and then equip the Halkifibrex from the grave. Now you have a negate, you're Nibiru proof, and you haven't used, you still have 4 cards in hand, right? And you have a negate plus another token that you can use. Very strong. But in this case, we don't run the Boral Savage, we'll just decrease the level. It's level 3 plus level 3. And we use those two to make Juju. Why we make Juju will be apparent in a second. Cupid Pitch will trigger in the grave and will inflict 600 damage to your opponent, and then add a monster with 600 defense exactly from your deck to hand. Now, 600 defense, you can add Lulu, which has 600 defense, or you have Lily. So let's say you have one of these already in hand, you have Lulu in hand, and you will search the Lily instead, or vice versa. But in this case, you will search the Lulu. And we went into Juju, so we have a target for the Lulu. So Lulu, target Juju, and we will send to the grave Jinglong to add our Juche. Now, as you can see, we still have 5 cards in hand, and those are usually hand traps because otherwise you would have made other plays, and we haven't committed our normal summon yet. So the opponent really has to stop the econ, otherwise you can go out of control here, and then, yeah, that's still 5 cards in hand. Oftentimes, virtual world plays are still possible here, so very strong. So now you can use the Jinglong in the grave, banish it to add a Lala. So then you can go with Lulu and the token to make Stardust Charge Warrior, which will draw you a card. Let's just put a blank here, because if it's a virtual world name, the play obviously will change here, so let's not complicate it even further. Then you can use Lao, target Juju, send to the grave. Depending on your hand, you can also like send a Chuche if you want level modulation, or send Janwu if you need another body. But in this instance, I would just send the Qinglong for follow-up next turn, special the Lao, and get back the Lulu. Then you can use these two to make Zolkin. You will guaranteed have a card to set because you added the Punk Trap and the Chuche, so you set it, activate the effect, get out the Crystal Wing, and then you can use those two to make Shen Shen. Now, this particular line that I just played obviously plays into Nibiru very hard, but this is just one E-Tiller that we used, and we haven't committed to normal. I just have to repeat it again. And we drew an extra card. We still have 5 cards in hand. We have the trap set already. So if you want to play around Nibiru, you can also obviously think about it and alter your plays a bit. For example, you can try to make a Zolkin much earlier, and then you have to make trade-offs off of that, or like look at the hand, what virtual world names do you have. If you have Kowloon, you don't need to go into Juju. You can use the Synchro to go into Stardust Charge, for example, draw a card, because you always have a target already. But yeah, this is what you'll end up with, and then we have like the Chuche set, plus a couple of cards, maybe hand traps, like maybe a brick. I don't know if there's any brick you could have drawn here. But yeah, that's just the one card. One thing you can do is, say you went to Zolkin and Crystal Wing, and you still have the token, for example, and or you don't even need the token. You can also say, okay, I want to go into Beatrice, which I don't play right now. Beatrice effect, you can use it to dump any floodgate into the deck, into the grave that you want. And for example, Skill Drain, I don't know, although then you wouldn't make Crystal Wing. But Orodon's third effect says you can tribute itself, and to other mod, like you tribute 3 monsters. You have the free Zolkin anyway, so you tribute those 2, and then either Beatrice or any virtual world name to add the floodgate back from the grave to the hand. It's also very strong, but I liked that play when we had Imperial Order, because Imperial Order backing this whole thing up is very strong. Right now I don't see a floodgate that I would have wanted to use, so I don't do it. So that's it for the 1-card combo. Some things to note are that the Foxy Tune can obviously discard a Jinglong. So say you have a bricked hand, let's say we have these, right? You can then use the Foxy to discard the Jinglong, which gets you into your Punk engine. So Foxy would get Xiamen from your deck, and then you get the Spider, the normal summon the Spider because you don't have the E-Tailer, and then you can do the Hulky plays here, but you also have the extra Qinglong. So what that allows you to do is with Lulu to send a Chuche instead, and that will add a Kowloon. So then from that point on you can make other plays. I'm just going to play it through, I think. So let's put all this back. We start off with 2 random cards and Qinglong and a Punk Foxy. So what you can do here, use this effect, grab your Xiamen, use the effect, grab the Spider, normally summon the Spider to grab the trap, synchro those, not synchro, you link into Hulky, which will then get out deskbot, then you go into Auradon, get your tokens, get your deskbot back. You know the drill. Can go into Cupid pitch, use the Cupid pitch as a level 3 to make Juju again. Cupid pitch triggers, grabs your Lulu, then you use Lulu effect targeting Juju, and now you can actually go ahead, send a Chuche, add a Kowloon, and then what you can do, which is pretty cool, is you can go banish the Chuche, increase the level, and this way you kind of play around getting nibbed, because obviously they can nib here, but then you still have the Kowloon. So if you have any virtual world, you even have, like, if they nib you here, you have the Qinglong in the grave, so you can activate Kowloon, get Chuche from the deck, and then you search a Lao Lao, for example, and then you can continue making plays. If they don't have nib, you set this, get out the Crystal Wing, activate the Kowloon, get the Chuche, and then you can go from here. You have free choice of any virtual world you want to use now, and you can just pop off while having free negate. So that's P.U.N.K virtual world. In my opinion, this is the most consistent way to play virtual world right now. I'm still considering between Brave Engine or this version. So Brave Engine obviously has the way higher ceiling, whereas this has a higher floor. So you won't break as often because you just have a one-card combo in addition to all your virtual world combos. So let me know in the comments below what version you prefer, and I'll see you guys next time.